Welcome back, everybody. It's about, let's see, 4 o'clock on Wednesday. Back to get some work done. A little bit of a list of stuff to do today. I got my tachometer figured out. I'm going to put that guy in. I'm going to pull the gas tank, do some rearranging and stuff under there, get that guy back in and get that piped in and ready to accept some gasoline. I don't know if I'm going to actually pour stuff in today or not. Let's see, what else? I'm going to get all my hydraulic leaks taken care of. I didn't see any drops on the floor when I came in today, so I don't know if that got fixed or if that's a good sign or not. Obviously, nothing's been under pressure, but maybe I got some luck going with me there. And I'm going to look at tightening up the suspension. The points that I had not tightened up yet, kind of go through and do a torque check on various pieces, parts. You don't want the stuff that's going to flex with the weight of the car. You want to get the car loaded down before you do that. Obviously, I don't have all the stuff on the car yet, so I probably will loosen it up when I'm done my parking lot trips to allow the bushings to kind of reset, and then tighten it down when I get the car fully reassembled with the windshield, windscreen, frame, all that kind of stuff. And then I want to run the car for a little bit towards the end of the night, hopefully, and troubleshoot the generator. I don't think I have it generating, so I want to try to take care of that. So lots of work tonight. We'll see if I can get it all. Tachometer is in, and I rolled it with just hooked up the cable and ran the cable with a drill, and it works. So that's a wonderful thing. Got the gas tank out and back in, and I think I had pointed out that big heavy-duty felt pad that just wasn't fitting. So what I did, if you can see those little like white bricks under there, essentially I cut them down and drug them underneath in that spacing under there, just to provide a little bit of support between the bottom of the fuel tank and the car itself body, just to prevent some minor vibration and everything. It's not pretty, but it'll work. Got the gas cap back on. Now this with the original stuff is a little bit crooked, but I'm all right with that. And yeah, so I'm actually going a little bit faster than I thought I would. Now next up is going to be the hydraulics. Kind of testing those out. I need to bleed the clutch again from my run-in. That the clutch wasn't working so well. Go around and look at doing the brakes again and just see if I can get that feeling a little bit better. Accomplished everything that I said I was going to, believe it or not. The brakes still need to be bled, but I'm not going to bleed them now. The clutch I did bleed. Just I need to get some assistance over here to bleed these brakes properly. Morning, everybody. It's about 9 o'clock on Saturday. Been over here for about an hour or so. Getting the brakes re-bled, and also here you can see I've got the jack set up underneath the wheel here, and got some tension on the road spring, the transverse leaf spring, called the road spring in the manual, and I'm tightening up this connection here. It goes to about 40 foot-pounds, and even though I don't have the full weight on the car, that's going to be good enough as far as I'm concerned to at least get it tightened up. And I have some places to tighten on the front. The other thing I'm having the problem with still is that, if you can see way back in there, that guy, that's a 3-way brass fitting. It takes the main brake hose coming from the front of the car here into it, and then splits it between the 2 rear wheels. Having problems with that leaking still, so I got to find that, try to get that taken care of. But for right this second, I'm going to take care of tightening this up and then bleeding the brake, just gravity, and moving on from there. Got the suspension tightened up, both front and back. Wheels are on the ground for first time in a little while. Anyway, get the front wheels down here in a second. I got the gas tank piped in. Got a little bit of gas in it, not a whole lot, and obviously I got a little piece of paper towel under there just in case it starts leaking. Also adjusted the steering wheel a little bit and put that a little bit further in, and essentially as far as it'll go, it was sticking out a little too far. Actually, my youngest pointed it out. I brought him over here yesterday just to show Dad's progress, and he pointed out that steering wheel seemed to be really, really close to the seat, and I looked at it and I'm like, you're right. So wisdom from the mouth of babes, so to speak. Got the fuel filter piped in. What I'm going to do now is pick up where I left off the other day with testing the alternator, or excuse me, the generator, see if I can get that figured out. I have not figured out the mess of the underneath the dashboard of the wiring for the lighting switch and all that kind of stuff. I did colorize the wiring diagram here. I'll probably release that or put that out for public consumption. There's a couple of mistakes in it that I got to go back and fix. But I also bled the brakes again, gravity bled. So I'll try to get the car started here. Hopefully the gas pump will be able to maintain a prime off the gas tank with it the way that it's actually piped in now. Keep the car running for a little bit, test the alternator out. Battery's fully charged, and we'll get going here and see what happens. Mentioned in an earlier video, I think, this little lever on the fuel pump here, it helps you prime the tank. And when I had the gas can in here and I would do it, I never really got a prime. And now that I got the gas tank, the actual gas tank piped in, I pumped it, I don't know, a dozen times or so, and then you can hear it squishing. Sounds like a squishy noise going through, so I'm definitely moving gas, so I don't expect to have starting problems this time. So I'll start the car up. The two leads to the dynamo are disconnected. You've got the main lead and then the field lead. So this big tab that's in here that's kind of hard to see, that's where I'm going to be connecting. Start the car up, bring it up to about 1500 RPM it says, and then you should read about 1.5 to 3 volts out of that big heavy tab. I did bench test the dynamo. I couldn't do any voltage on it, but I turned it into a motor, a generator and a motor. You just put current in a different way and you can turn it. So I had done that. It did turn, so I know there's electrical continuity in it. Whether or not it'll actually put out voltage, however, remains to be seen. So I'll start the car up here and touch the voltmeter and see what I get. Oh, maybe. Alright, so we're just going to take a flathead screwdriver, bump up on the RPM here a little bit, and then check the output. Nope, I was wrong. Tachometer doesn't work. Well. Here, wire it up, plug it back in, see what happens. Well, obviously that smoke's not good. Appears to just be, hopefully, the exhaust pipe manifold. No other obvious place where it would be coming off, so that's good, I guess. Alright, another test for the dynamo. Instead of wiring it back up and check it real quick, you just take amperage and you'll go across the field windings and the armature. So I'm looking for not too much here, 2 amps or so. We'll see what happens. Whatsoever, so we'll see what I can do about that. Figured the tachometer out. What was happening was the cable, I had routed it through, there's 2 holes, I had routed it through the hole underneath the control box, and it was putting pressure on the internal and kind of cocking it in there, and the needle was sticking up against the glass, not allowing it to rotate. So no harm, no foul. There's no direct connection between the needle and the rotational gearing. It uses a magnet actually, kind of drag it across. It's pretty interesting. I haven't played with the dynamo yet. I'm going to play with that now and see if I can get some charge out of this. What I did not do, and what you need to do, is flash the field of the dynamo, or polarize it, another term for it. And essentially you take a known power source, in other words my battery here, and I'm going to touch it to the big, or the field lead, the smaller lead, and I should get some sparky. And when I do that, I know that the dynamo is polarized. So we're going to try that real quick here. Alright, so that lead right there that you can see, that tab, That's what I am trying to polarize. So I'll take my lead here. It should get a little bit of a spark when I do it. See that spark? That's all it is. You just, now it's polarized. If you were going to change it to a positive ground car, you would do the same thing except swap your battery, obviously. And that should do it for polarizing it. Now that's not to say that it's going to work. We'll just see what happens. Well, unfortunately that didn't do it. The ignition light's staying on, which means my battery's not charging. But I'm going to continue on with work. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Grab a bite to eat, put the battery on the charge. Since it's been working, I don't really expect it to suck a whole lot of energy down just to create a spark. Continue on with the day. I don't want it to die on me either. I did what I came here to do today, so I'm going to call it. Still a lot of work to do, obviously. I got to finish painting, got to get the generating system figured out. Brakes are still dodgy, but I'd call that a successful road test. Proof of concept done. 4 years of work. Around the block a couple times. Thanks for watching. Take care. Cheers.